Hey guys, Miss C here. Today we are starting the second part of Unit 3, where we're going to start looking at factors and zeros for polynomial functions and how to find this. So earlier this unit, or I think actually in Unit 2, we talked about synthetic division. And so that is going to come back right here, and we're going to use synthetic division with the given factors or zeros, and we're going to talk about the difference between those in a second. So just a refresher on synthetic division, you were told you were given a polynomial right here, and you were also given some sort of linear part to divide it by. And so the first thing you had to do was set that equal to 0, and then subtract to get x by itself. And then this was the number you used, -3, not +3. Then you used synthetic division. So you had your -3 outside, and then you used the coefficients of your polynomial to for the numbers inside here. So we start off with 1, and remember guys, you have to have a placeholder. So if we have x to the 4th, x to the 3rd, x squared, x, and then our x to the 0th, which is our linear term, we are missing a x to the 3rd term here, so we need to make sure we put a placeholder of 0 there. And then we have -10, -2, and 4. These are our coefficients from this polynomial right here, okay? So if we remember synthetic division, we bring down our first coefficient, and then we multiply -3 and 1, and we end up with -3 to put underneath 0. We add these numbers together to get -3. And then it's just a loop. Then now we are multiplying -3 times -3 for 9. Now we're adding -10 and 9 for -1. We're multiplying to get 3, adding to get 1, and then multiplying -3, and then adding to get 1. And here is our remainder at the end. So how we would write this as our final answer, remember we always write our first term as 1 degree less as what we started with. So this would be x to the 3rd minus 3x squared minus x plus 1 plus our remainder over the divisor. So 1 over x plus 3. So that's a refresher. If you need some more help on synthetic division, please feel free to ask in class or ask for some extra practice. But this is review from last unit, okay? And so now we're going to talk about the difference between factors and roots. So they're definitely related. Factors are written as what you multiply together to get a polynomial. They're written in parentheses. So, for example, we were trying to see if x plus 3 was a factor of this polynomial. And they're written as binomials like this right here, okay? These are the factors of a polynomial. Roots are when you set those factors equal to 0. After you set a factor equal to 0, that's what you get. And roots are also called zeros, solutions, x-intercepts. That's what we've been calling them. So we see roots as x equals here, okay? So for example, it says determine whether this x plus 2 is a factor of this polynomial here. So the way that we know if it's a factor or not is if the remainder is 0. That's how we're going to find out. So for this recall problem we did at the start, we see that the remainder is not 0, which means x plus 3 is not a factor. Not a factor of this polynomial here. So we're going to try to see if x plus 2 is a factor of this polynomial. So x plus 2 equals 0, x equals -2. So I'm going to set up my synthetic division. -2, what goes inside is 3, -1. Let me move some of my stuff around. -1, 2, and -4. Okay? I'm going to work through the synthetic division. 14, 16, -32, -36. And remember, this last number, this is our remainder. So this question is asking, determine if it's a factor. No, it's not, because if it was, our remainder would be 0. So try this one on your own. Since, yeah, you've seen the example, try this one on your own. All right, so now that you are back in the video, we can try this one together and see we get 1, -6, 0. Don't forget your placeholder right there. You might have forgotten that and gotten a wrong answer. So if you did, pause the video, try again, and come back. So when we do this one, we see that we get a remainder of 0. So yes, x minus 6 is a factor. That's how you would write your answer here, or you could just write yes. But we know that because the remainder is 0. Okay, finding the complete factorization. So now that we know how to find a factor, now they're going to tell us this is a factor. X minus 1 is a factor. Find the other factors. So when we do our synthetic division here, we will end up with a remainder of 0, which is nice to know to start off with. And so I'm going to set up my synthetic division, 3, 8, -3, -8. And work my way down. 3, 1 times 3 is 3. 8 plus 3 is 11. 11, -3 plus 11 is 8. And we get 0. So that's what we should get. If you end up with a number when it tells you it's a factor, you made a mistake somewhere. So always go back and check your work. So now I need to write out what my new division is here. So I just divided, and so I have 3x squared plus 11x plus 8. Okay? So I want to completely factor this. So I already know that x minus 1 is a factor. So now I need to factor 3x squared plus 11x plus 8. And so this is where we're going to use things that we learned last unit and this unit to factor, and the different strategies you learned of how to factor here. And you're going to find out how you, not 3x and 3x. Some of you are watching this like, Missy, you're crazy. Yeah, 3x and x, and now you're trying to figure out, okay, what do I want to put in each spot to multiply to 8 and add up to 11. And so I'm going to choose 1 and 8 here, plus, plus. And so my complete factorization is x minus 1, 3x plus 8, x plus 1. And that is the complete factorization. These are your other two factors of g of x here, okay? Let's try another one. So this one, it gives us two factors. And so let's just start with 1. So we're going to start here. And so we have x minus 2 equals 0. And so this is where I'm going to start with my synthetic division here. And let's write our coefficients. So we have 2, 7, -4, -27, and -18. So remember, we should end up with 0 at the end. So I have 2, 4, 11, 22, oh gosh, -18, no, not negative, just 18, 36, 9, 18, and 0. So we end up with 0 at the end. So now our new polynomial, remember we always go one less in the exponent, so we have 2x cubed plus 11x squared plus 18x plus 9. So I don't know about you guys, but I don't really know how, there's no way for me to factor this. You could try factor by grouping, but you're not going to get anywhere with that. That's not going to get you to a possible solution. This is why they give you a second root, a second factor here. And so we're going to use that to do synthetic division again. So I'm going to use -3, and now I'm going to use these coefficients. So I have 2, 11, 18, and 9, and I'm going to go again. And so I have 2, -6, 5, -15, 3, -9, and 0. So now I have 2x squared plus 5x plus 3, because I'm 1 down from this one now. Okay, guys? Now I think I can factor this. And so I have 2x and x. And now I'm trying to get a middle sum of 5. And so I'm going to do 1 and 3. And I can do my quick check to see that I would get 5x in the middle. And so these are my other two factors. What are the factors of this function? These are my other two factors of the function. So completely written out, all the factors together would be these two along with these two. Okay? Cool. Now try this one on your own. Okay, now that you're back, you have 10, 1, negative 12, 12, and 80. 1, 10, negative 2, negative 20, negative 8, negative 80, 0, x squared minus 2x minus 8. I'm going to factor this now. And I want to use 4 and 2, negative 4, positive 2. These are my other two factors. How'd you do? Negative 4, x minus 4, x plus 2. If they ask you for the factors, you want to leave them as how they're shown here. This right here is asking you what would the roots be of all of the factors you found above. So if you were to go back to all of your answers here, what would your roots be? And your roots would be setting all of your factors equal to 0, and those would be, once you solve for x, those would be your answers. Solve for x. So guys, I hope this was helpful for those of you that either missed class or needed a refresher on synthetic division. But have a good weekend and see you guys on Monday.